should black people, African Americans, relocate to the South? I'll say this, right? I would say yes. But the thing that black people have to look out for, right, is this. What are you actually relocating to the South for? Like, if you're trying to get away from gentrification, because gentrification is going on in your neighborhood and you could no longer live in your neighborhood, so you want to move somewhere else where it's cheaper, it's more affordable. Well, guess what? In the South, the reason why there's hype and it looks appealing is because of gentrification. Gentrification that is running rampant all through the South. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're looking for this promised land, you know what I'm saying, this utopia where everything is perfect, then guess what? You're not going to find that in the South. I've lived in many states and cities in the South, and I can tell you that there is no one perfect state or city in the South. Next, the big shebang-a-bang, racism. I can tell you, if you're trying to run away, or not say run away, but get away from racism, because racism is like really, really extremely bad in the city and the state that you're living in. Well, guess what? There's certain parts of the South that's just as bad as, if not worse than where you're at right now. And from what I've learned in my experiences, right, is that you can't run away from racism. You can't get away with it. From it. That racism is everywhere. It's all over the United States of America. That plain and simple. So it's not a matter of accepting it, right? We don't have to accept it, but we definitely have to deal with it. You understand? So if you can manage to juggle through all of what I just said, I think the South would fit you. You understand? So I'm going to break it down to you state by state and where I think you should live in those specific states. You see what I'm saying? In the South. The ones that I don't mention are the ones that I don't think is a good deal. So when looking at Virginia, because I think Virginia, that's where the South starts. When looking at Virginia, I would recommend Richmond. Nothing other than that. Norfolk, Virginia Beach, I've heard that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? The whole DMV area is coming up or whatever have you. Actually, the suburbs of DC is like Maryland and Virginia, you know. But technically, the South would start from Virginia on down, and I would just recommend Richmond. That's it. Not Petersburg, not Norfolk, not Virginia Beach, any other place. Just Richmond, right? Then North Carolina. I would recommend Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, and that's it. Not Greensboro, not Winston-Salem, not Fayetteville, none of those places. Now, when dealing with Raleigh, you would have to face some racism. You know, people do stereotype you there. There isn't blatant racism that's going on there. You understand? But when it comes to the cops, they do racially profile you. It's just that plain and simple. You understand? But when it comes to regular citizens of that particular city called Raleigh, it's not blatant racism there, but they do stereotype you. If you look a certain way, they're going to think that you, based on how they look at you, you know, the look that you have, like say for example, if you have dreads, they're going to automatically assume that you smoke weed. But this is nothing new. I think that this happens everywhere. You understand? But Raleigh is the capital city and it has an image to uphold. So it tries to remain clean as possible, if you get what I'm saying. Durham is gangs. You understand? Bloods and Crips. It's a black city, is cultural. You know, in that area, you're definitely going to live a decent life outside of, you know, as far as dealing with Raleigh and racism and Durham with gangs or whatever. You're going to live a decent life because in that area, you have the Research Triangle Park, where there's pharmaceutical companies and tech jobs there. You understand? You have right down the street from there, you know, Duke Hospital. You have Duke University. You have North Carolina State University. You have UNC, University of North Carolina. So there's a lot of jobs in that area. And then Microsoft is coming, is building their park or whatever, and they're gonna bring in 400 or 500 extra jobs. So you don't have to worry about public education there. Public education is good, specifically in Wake County, Raleigh and Cary. You don't have to worry about jobs. You don't have to worry about housing. But what you do have to worry about is the racism in Raleigh and Raleigh just being this clean city. You know what I'm saying? It has an image to uphold because it's the capital city. And Durham being its gangs. You understand? But that area, outside of that, it's a go. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't necessarily move back. I lived in those two places, Raleigh and Durham. I wouldn't necessarily move back. Matter of fact, I wouldn't move back. I still have family that's there in Durham, but I don't visit them like that. My mom's is there, and I tell her to come up to Charlotte. So you got Raleigh, got Durham. Greensboro is a no-go. It's a racist place. That whole area is like a triad. So you got High Point, Triad City or whatever. You got High Point, Triad Cities, however they call it. High Point, Greensboro, and Winston-Salem. That whole area, it's slowly but surely coming up. I lived in Greensboro for 4 years. I didn't like it. It's worse than Raleigh when it comes to police officers racially profiling you and just racism, period, in the city. Fayetteville is a place where, it's Fort Bragg is there. You understand? It's an army base, that's there, and that's basically it. As far as entertainment-wise, in Raleigh-Durham area, you have bars, clubs, and different things like that. They have the NHL hockey team called North Carolina Hurricanes or whatever. There's things to do, but as a minority, there isn't too many things to do. You understand? Like there's a difference between, what Caucasians feel is entertainment in comparison to what minorities or blacks feel is a source of entertainment, right? So far as dealing with blacks, there's not too many things to do there. I mean, it's typical. You go to the clubs that's there. You go to the bars, and it's pretty much it. Hookah lounges is popping up everywhere. So in the state of North Carolina, you got Raleigh, Durham, and then you got Charlotte, in which I live here. I've lived here twice. You understand? You don't experience that I never experienced any blatant racism. Racism is not even that bad here. You understand? I mean, there have been police shootings. I'm not gonna lie. There's no doubt. But at the end of the day, it seems as though that Charlotte somewhat has their thing together when it comes to race relations. You see a whole lot of diversity here. A lot of interracial relationships or marriages or just couples, period. In the city of Charlotte, there's things to do. This is the city of finance. So if you're into banking, as far as dealing with the major banks that's here, which is Bank of America and Wells Fargo, you could do pretty good here. There's tech here, tech jobs or whatever, that's here. I would recommend Charlotte. You understand? But that's it. Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, the end in the state of North Carolina. Now, South Carolina, nothing. I wouldn't recommend anywhere, with the exception of Fort Mill and Rock Hill, that sits like right on the state line of North Carolina. So most, like what I see now, because Charlotte is taking a turn, things are shifting, and gentrification is like really, really affecting the city here. So most of the Charlotteans can't afford to live here, the ones that was born and raised here. So what they have to do is they have to live outside the city limits of Charlotte, which is, Rock Hill, Fort Mill, Gastonia, Concord, places like that. So if you can't afford to live in the city limits of Charlotte, then you live in places like Fort Mill and Rock Hill. And I can tell you that there's a price difference. Like, I even get gas in Fort Mill because the gas is like 10 to 30 cents cheaper, in comparison to Charlotte. So that's it. South Carolina, I wouldn't recommend anywhere. I really wouldn't, with the exception of Fort Mill and Rock Hill. That's it. The rest of the state, I mean, I don't want to give you statistics like that because it's really, really like bad. You understand? Like a lot of people are living below the poverty line. It's just that plain and simple. And most of them are black. So for minorities, this is for black people, minorities that I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good look. Maybe for Caucasians, I don't know. You understand? But for black people, South Carolina is definitely not a good look. Georgia. The only place is Atlanta. Outside of that, places like Augusta, Macon, Edenton, Savannah, those places is a no-go. And even in Atlanta, it's a no-go because when you look at Atlanta, most people that have never lived there, I don't know anything about Atlanta. They just, vacation there for a couple of days. They don't understand what actually Atlanta is. So when you think about 6.1 million people being there, you think, that is Atlanta. No, that's not Atlanta. Atlanta is about close to 1 million people in the city limits of Atlanta. What they're referring to when they talk about the 6.1 million people there, they're talking about Atlanta and the surrounding counties, cities, and stuff like that. So cities such as College Park, East Point, Marietta, Dunwoody, Decatur, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta, and the list goes on. That's what makes up 6.1 million people, right? So you have 285, a highway that surrounds Atlanta, right? So inside 285, you're good if you're black, if you're a minority, right? What you experience in Atlanta is something totally different from the outskirts of Atlanta, outside of 285. So outside of 285, you experience racism. Inside of 285, which is Atlanta city limits, you experience classism. So within classism, you have black people that may stay in like places like Buckhead that will look down on another person that may stay in a place like East Point, College Park, Decatur. You understand? Bankhead. So you have classism there, and then outside of 285, you have racism. And there are certain areas that that the natives would tell you not to go as a black person. One of them being Forsyth County. And just the whole area to me is and I don't mean to be spooky or anything like that. I just think that the whole area is just like a spell has been cast on it. If you all have done any type of research in dealing with Lake Lanier, what they did to the black people there, they basically drowned a whole community of black people. Like, there's still allegedly dead bodies that are in Lake Lanier as we speak. And every time someone goes to Lake Lanier, like every summer, someone dies. I'm not even lying. I'm not making this up. If you don't believe me, check it out. Do your due diligence when it comes to researching. But in Atlanta, you have a surplus of jobs. You understand? And if you can get over the classism, the city being clicked up, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not part of a sorority or fraternity, you can it. If you can get over black people stabbing you in the back, or selling you a pipe dream, you get down there, somebody DMs you, calls you, texts you, or whatever have you, and tells you, yo, I'm a manager, I can make you rich, I can get you a part in Tyler Perry movie, or I can sign you, or I can introduce you to the Migos to get your rap career going. If you don't mind somebody telling you that shit, and then you get down there and they done fucked you over, then I guess you can move down there. So we covered Virginia, Richmond, North Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte. South Carolina, no go, with the exception of along the state lines, which is Fort Mill and Rock Hill. And then Georgia, which, if you can tolerate the fake fuckery shit in Atlanta, Florida, South Florida. And even that is debatable because in Miami, you have racist Cubans. That plain and simple. So I would recommend probably like Broward County, you know what I'm saying? Fort Lauderdale, that area. I lived in Orlando for a short period of time. My man, Pretty Ricky, lived in Orlando for a couple years. And he said that Florida is very, very racist. You understand? And the only place that he would, if he were to move back, would be Broward County, somewhere around that area. Other than that, no, it's a no-go. You understand? Jacksonville, very racist. You know, Central Florida to me seems like it's okay. It ain't great. South Florida it's okay. We tolerate you. The only reason why we kind of tolerate you because you do have, you know, the Caribbeans that's there. You know, you have the Haitians, the Jamaicans. You got all types of Caribbean people that's there. So it's like, it's not like, you know, it's just a big melting pot. So they got to kind of tolerate you because it's a lot of minorities, but it's more minorities that's there than white people. And I don't mean minorities like all black. I'm talking about minorities like a mixture, you know, West Indian, Jamaican, you know, Haitian, Dominican, etc., right? So now we got that out of the way. South Florida, specifically Broward County. Forget about it, Alabama. Forget about it, Mississippi. And if you want to include Texas as being the South, in which technically they're not. I think they would be Midwest. But if you were to include Texas, I would say, in which Los Angeles, based on the cost of living and you know it being so expensive to live in that area, most people that are from Los Angeles are actually relocating down to Texas. The places that they're going to are Dallas, Austin, and Houston. So I hope that I helped you all out. You know what I'm saying? And if anyone would ask me, you know, should minorities or black people, you know, move to the South, I would say yes. But expect to deal with somewhat of the same shit that you're dealing with, you know, wherever you're living at. It may be better. It may be a little better. You understand? Like I feel comfortable here. I'm not gonna, I could get in my car and a cop could get behind me and I don't think nothing about it. You understand? I've never been harassed by the cops. I got stopped when I first got here, rightfully so. I didn't have a license. License plate wasn't even the same like the plate that's supposed to go with the car. You understand? So I haven't been racially profiled here, but I can tell you I've been arrested quite a few times in Raleigh and Durham and in Greensboro. You understand? And I'm not trying to, you know, I'm being non-biased as possible. You understand? So I'm going to tell you, you know, like the situation with Raleigh, Durham, and Greensboro, if it was a thing where I was just getting arrested and it was all my fault, I would tell you. But for the most part, I know at least 70% of those times that I got arrested, it was racially profiling. Period. That plain and simple. Like I was not doing shit wrong. But all of a sudden, you pull me over. You understand? So, yeah, man, you know, I hope that I covered everything. And just know, you know, that America has blood stained on her hands from black people. And regardless of where you go, there's going to be racism. There's going to be a horrible, devastating history, regardless of where you go. Because I know, like, some New Yorkers tend to say, well, you know, the South is racism going on. Come on, man. Do we have to really go there? Like Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, Eric Garner. Please. So, this is everywhere. Racism is everywhere. We can't avoid it. What we have to do is just face it. You understand? And stand up to it. Other than that, man, it is what it is. I hope that I helped you all out. Leave it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Last but not least, education-wise, you know, as far as dealing with the South, I'll say in the state of North Carolina, it is a shitload of colleges. I mean, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Georgia. I mean, yo, the all down south, all of it. Shitload of colleges, HBCUs, and just regular colleges. So if you're coming down here trying to get an education, you want to go to college here, please You got a shitload of colleges to choose from. I think I've covered everything. I think I have. The South is not the South anymore. There's really little to no farms. Most of the farms are in South Carolina and Georgia. Other than that, there's really no farming. Like, everybody lives a modernized life where people just go to the grocery store to buy their vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Yeah, true indeed. You do have farmers markets, around the city, specifically in Charlotte. But most of the time, people just go to their local grocery store, Harris Teeter, Publix, Aldi, Walmart, Super Walmart, Super Target, stuff like that. What's the last thing? Relationships, if you're looking for love or whatever, I mean, you definitely ain't gonna find it in Atlanta, because everybody, they're swingers, and there's, some of everything. I don't want to get into it, but you know where I'm coming from. Him downstairs, they down there. I don't want to get in trouble. I definitely want to monetize this channel, but for the most part, it's what you see is what you get in the South. It's just that plain and simple. All right? Other than that, I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely share this video. Peace. Yo, my bad. One last thing. I forgot. I did mention Durham as far as dealing with gangs and everything, but what I failed to mention is crime. I did mention Durham, but I kind of gave off this whole thing that, all of the southern cities, I didn't directly say, but in an indirect way, I didn't mention, the crime. I would think that even if I don't mention it, that you already know that if you're trying to run away from crime, right? Unless it's a place like Chicago, it's crime everywhere. It's crime everywhere, all over the South. Every city is experiencing crime. Gentrification is going on. People are losing their jobs. I don't want to say the virus thing, but there's a lot of things going on in a city, in these cities and states, in the southern cities and states. You understand? So there's a lot of crime. You have red states, so you have politics. You understand? Like, some states that are red, Republicans, they run it, and other states that are blue, the Democrats run it, and politics it's a lot of things going on, but in specific, the crime. There's crime everywhere. Here in Charlotte, we just experienced in West Charlotte, 3-year-old kid got killed. On the news, it said it was a drive-by. It was footage of it. It wasn't a drive-by. The two guys got out and they sprayed the whole house 150 rounds and killed this 3-year-old kid. Then days later, in West Charlotte, off of Wilkinson Boulevard, in the Walmart shopping center area, Walmart parking lot, an 18-year-old kid got killed. You understand? So there's crime everywhere in the South. So that's one last thing. If you're trying to run away or get away from the crime, you understand? Unless you're in a city like Chicago, like where like murders are happening or people getting shot like almost every day, and it's like 30, 40 people getting shot in one weekend. Unless it's that, you're gonna experience crime. In some cities it's more or less. I think I've covered everything. I'm not the guru of this. You understand? I just want to give you all my perspective, my opinion on things. Other than that, peace.